Six, five, four, three, two, one.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Hi, folks. Welcome. Based on the fact that I am starting a new journey, maybe I can use some of the skills I've learned to document and share my experience on this journey. I will start from the beginning at some point. I will explain what these are as well. What these are. We will learn together what these are. I'm not sure if I love them yet or if they're helping me. We'll start from the beginning in the next video and hopefully continue to share the story of how I got here, where I'm going, and hopefully bring you along with me. And mostly what I learned on this journey. So I have recently been diagnosed with a syndrome called visual snow syndrome. And it sounds very much like the name. In the first time I experienced it permanently, 24 hours, eyes open or closed, all I could describe it as was snow. No, or I was saying electricity, but snow was definitely one of the first ones. But I don't think anything really in words can explain how this feels. And so I figured it might be worth it to share it. There might be one person out there who, like me, had no clue what the heck this is and have to face it and then have to figure out what happens after that. I definitely know that I won't be doing everything right. I will get frustrated along the way. I think that's part of the journey, right? But if in the end, there's something I can share, there's something that helps me grow, or there's something that can inform others who just know people who are impacted by this, I think that's worth something. It could be therapeutic. So I want to start this off by just introducing what this is and hopefully giving a little bit about myself along the way. But know that this is new for me, i.e. I've only been a couple of days that I even know what visual snow syndrome is. And it's only been about 9 days since this has stuck with me permanently. So even though it started a couple months ago. So I want to talk to you guys about the first resource that I found. It was the first human touch resource that I feel I found to give me information and in a way slowly comfort and shepherd me into what I'm experiencing now. Everything else was an AI Google answer or some medical definition that isn't in layman's terms. It didn't feel like a human was giving you the news, whereas this is still a website, but it feels like we know it's made by people and it has the sound of someone speaking to someone who understands what this is and wants to support someone who's experiencing it. I am thankful that there are resources like this. I don't think I would know what was going on with me if there wasn't, given doctors could not help me. The only reason I found out what was happening to me was because of this. So let me tell you guys about Visual Snow. The Visual Snow Initiative is a nonprofit organization, so I'm going to use it, I'm sure, a lot in terms of resourcing. But Visual Snow Syndrome, VSS, is a neurological disorder that impacts an individual's vision, hearing, cognition, sensory processing, and quality of life. The defining characteristic of VSS is seeing visual snow, which can be described as seeing static, flickering dots, and flashing lights, 24/7, with your eyes open or closed. And closed for me is by far the worst. Some describe it as trying to see in the middle of a snowstorm or through a snow globe that has been shaken up. VSS entails more than just seeing visual snow. People with VSS also commonly experience many debilitating visual and non-visual symptoms. VSS symptoms affect an estimated 2 to 3% of the world's population. The Visual Snow Initiative, VSI, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to global awareness, education, resources, patient advocacy, treatment development, and research for VSS. To date, our team has heard from people affected by VSS in over 93 countries. Together, we can find a solution. So just for reference, this is, as the name says, it's easy to find the website, visualsnowinitiative.org, just as the name of the organization says, .org. I am not affiliated with them in any way. Right now, they're one of the primo resources that I'm aware of. I'm just thankful that this exists. I will show you at the end what I feel like is the best representation for me of what the visual snow in my perception. A good example, if you just want to see really quickly what we are talking about, the left side here of this header, the eye, is what you would expect to see if you're just looking at a person. Clear vision, you can see through to their face, their eyes, their eyelashes. There is definition. On the right-hand side is someone who is impacted by visual snow. So one night I went to bed with the left side being how I saw the world, and then I woke up with the right side being how I saw the world, and it's been like that since. Everyone seems to have different perceptions, experiences, and I'm sure that's because all of our brains are different. They're unique. And so not one of us are going to have the exact same experience with this syndrome. But what everyone does experience is some form of distortion, visual disturbance. Visual disturbance is the term I keep hearing medically that I think best represents it. So that is visual snow. I don't want to talk too much today about how the journey started, because I think that's a long story and I don't think I have the energy for it or really the emotions right now. I think I did good right with this, but I think once I start talking a little bit more personally, I will get emotional. So I'd rather be prepared for that. But I just really, really hope that this is, if not helpful for just me, therapeutic for just me, that it's helpful for someone else, whether it's someone who finds this later and, like me, feels fortunate that they had something out there that gave them information. They didn't have to wait a long time. The more people who talk about it, the more it's known, and the more people who suffer from it then don't have to suffer alone, is my thought. I know that's lofty. That's a lofty hope. Even if not that those who don't experience the syndrome at least learn of it, understand it, and know if they ever do meet someone or have someone in their family experience it, that they have some information. I feel like I've explained enough. I wanted to show what I think is the best representations, closest that I can get to what I see. So this is a good example, I think, of what it looks like to me. How rapid it's falling. How rapid it's falling. In this case, the rain, but how rapid what I see is falling is like this. How it's just constantly moving. There's never a stop. It's like that. Of course, it's not. There's no light source up here. There's definitely other light at play, but it's not some like halo effect of light up here. Clearly the picture. And I would say that in reality, depth perception is pretty visible even in this video. So this is what I think is the best representation of what I experience, excluding the fact that light source and that it's all black in the background. It of course changes with what I see around me in my environment. This next one is a really good representation just because of how rapid it is, of how I see them at night when I close my eyes. Like I said, I do still see them. Everyone who has the syndrome still sees them. And it is disconcerting at most, at least. Definitely not at most. From a visibility perspective, the last rain photo I showed you had more space between the water droplets. So there is more visibility. My visibility is not as blurred as this. But when I go to sleep, when there's only a black, brownish backdrop, this is what it does look like. So instead of me seeing it as if snow, something's falling all around me in all of the places my eyes look, I think I'm just seeing everything right here on my eyelid. Now this is kind of what it looks like when I go to sleep. It sometimes looks scary. It does sometimes feel like I'm flying through space, is the best way of putting it. I feel like you're going through warp speed. Therefore, the stars start zipping by like really quickly and everything stretches because you go to warp speed. That's what it feels like, that I'm flying through space in like one of those types of spaceships. Last but not least, this is what I feel like people in my mind envision when I tell them what this is. This is what I think. Of course, I don't think everyone really thinks this, but I think this is what people think. I think that people think of it as like this pretty floating snow in, again, a snow globe that has not been shaken violently, though. It's just been lightly shaken, so everything falls prettily. And I'm sure a lot of people do hear me and imagine even worse than maybe what it is, or have a good sense of what I'm saying. But it's hard to not think that almost everyone I talk to thinks of it like it's some magical, pretty phenomenon. I feel like that's enough introduction to me and VSS, and at least able to share a resource that I know I'll be using for a long time, but that maybe could help someone else if they do come across this video with the Visual Snow Institute. But I feel like I got a good amount accomplished today. I will say also, talking I think does help, but what I'm realizing right now is the distraction it gave me, because it's certainly not the case if I was just watching TV or working. It would distract me. So there's something about me speaking, actively using my brain for something else, that clearly is a good distraction. I just wish every other distraction had the same power as having to talk and form thoughts. So I haven't thought about it as much as I think I would have. I don't know if this will be daily. I don't know if it'll be weekly. I don't know if I'll be able to keep up any type of consistent cadence. It'll just be when I can. What I do know is I'll be back. I'll be back again. All right. Hope you guys have a good day.